Hey everybody, my name is Nathan Cox.
And I'm Meg McLean, and we're here today to pitch an idea for a project to you. So, to start us off, Nathan Cox.
Alright, here we go. So I've been telling people lately that after the election, I personally am switching focus and switching gears away from federal politics to education, outreach, and activism. The mission, the plan, is to educate people about the right and empower them with knowledge so they can be active in protecting and preserving liberty. The goal of this mission is the creation and targeted distribution of 10,000 educational packets consisting of various literature, which I'll talk about briefly here in a few minutes. This project is for 1 month of full-time activism. We will be starting every morning around 8 or 8:30 in the morning, specifically at local courthouses and police stations. Specifically, the Richmond Courthouse, Henrico Courthouse, and the Federal Courthouse downtown, as well as various Richmond Police Department precincts within downtown Richmond. This gives us the chance to appease, late sleepers and people who identify themselves as not a morning person. That way we don't step on anybody's toes or rustle anybody's feathers early in the morning. We plan on moving away from the courthouses and from the outreach that will be going on in front of the courthouses, in front of the police stations around the 10 or 10:30 time frame, and move into the pre-designated communities and neighborhoods within the inner city Richmond. At the end of every day, we're going to make a 2 to 4 minute video explaining what neighborhoods we hit, about how much information we handed out, and if we ran into anything positive or negative, including any possible police encounters. If we hit anybody with a really positive reaction that really enjoys the literature and is very reactive in a positive way about it, we're going to ask them, if they'd be willing to do a very quick video interview explaining what they like to talk about. At the end of every week, we plan on releasing a longer video, 5 to 10 minute video, covering anything that we might have missed throughout the week, and that will include any potential or possible interviews that were taking place, whether it's police interviews or just interviews with folks in the neighborhoods that we're doing this outreach in. That is at the end of the week is when we will release those. I'm really excited about this educational packet, and I believe that the subjects covered within this packet are critical to convey to the public, as they offer the most direct, immediate, and individually beneficial results in dealing with the ever-expanding police state and the increasing threat of statism. I believe the next critical step for the freedom movement is education and outreach within our own local communities and localities. It's much easier to focus on a smaller piece of the pie and influence, educate, and hopefully change the minds of people within our own communities more so than on a national level. The topics of this literature that we will be handing out are as follows: a trifold brochure that discusses the philosophy of liberty, alongside with a subsection explaining the non-aggression principle. Then we'll have a flyer talking about police accountability, along with knowing your rights when encountered by the police. We'll have another trifold brochure that talks about the never take a plea deal concept, and our third and final trifold brochure is the jury nullification brochure that Meg just made up. I'll go ahead and let her discuss these in a little bit more detail and why we happen to choose these specific ones.
Alright, so I'm going to go over some of the various pieces of literature that we are going to have in this packet. Starting with the philosophy of liberty, it's going to be a trifold that has a lot of information, very graphically illustrated, very simple language so that people can understand what rights actually are. Explain to people these philosophies that for some reason or another government has been able to indoctrinate out of them. And just remind people, what liberty actually is. And the flyer that we will be using that you can see here, it is going to be changed a little bit to add some information about the non-aggression principle. And so we'll update the images within the blog posts and whatnot once those are updated. The second flyer the Don't Take the Plea Deal flyer, another trifold that will have information about the concept of not taking a plea deal. And this one's important because, you know, so many people are thrown into the system, parking your car in the wrong spot, having, you know, your music too loud, whatever the case may be. People constantly just take a plea deal because they're too scared to deal with the system. But if people didn't do that, we know if even just a small percentage of people didn't do that, the courts couldn't handle it. They would shut down. And so this is an incredibly good concept to teach to people. And if we can reach out to enough people, and even if only a small percentage of the people that we reach out to actually put this into action, you know, the courts will have to figure out a way to handle all the caseload. So this is another one that it's pretty much going to be exactly how you see here, except for the ad space on back, which I'll go over in detail in a later part of this video. The third trifold is going to be about jury nullification. And this one, once again, an important concept to teach to people because, you know, it puts the power of judging a law back into the people's hands. Right now people feel so helpless that, you know, the government's so huge and monolithic, and these laws that they make, you have to abide by them, or you have to go through these long processes of changing them. And this just shows people that they still have the power to change these laws as they see fit, as they follow their conscience. And, you know, we really want to get that message out to people as well. The next piece is the Virginia Cop Block cards, which I have an actual physical sample of here. So you can see what that card will look like. It just gives a general idea of what Cop Block is on the front. And then on the back, it's a quick, you know, if you encounter the cops, know your rights, you know, flashcard that people can keep on them. We have some of these on hand. We'd like to print more so we can include one in each kit. Since these will be handed out in Virginia, we want people to be able to contact their local Virginia Cop Block. The next flyer is the Police Accountability and Know Your Rights flyer. This one, again, is going through a few changes. It's going to be a 4 by 6 inch kind of postcard size flyer with the same, basically the same information you see on front. A little bit of difference on the back, talking about badges don't grant extra rights, which once again I'll have that image updated within our blog posts and whatnot once we get that stuff in there. This one is incredibly important so that people know their rights. So many people just end up in jail, end up arrested, end up with mounting legal fees, all this stuff because they don't know their rights, so they allow the police to abuse them. And, you know, we want people, especially in the areas that we're going to be targeting, to know what their rights are. So this is an incredibly important flyer to include. The final piece is the cover, which whenever we come up with a name for this project, we're going to have a 4 inch by 8.5 inch tall flyer that's going to go straight into the insert bags that Nathan spoke about. So when you look at the bag, it's just going to be in big letters something like "empower yourself," or, you know, some sort of language so that people know that this is a bag of information that's going to, you know, help save their rights. And on the back, we're going to offer more ad sales, which once again we'll talk about later. Now I went through the prices. We have right now a person locally who is going to quote us some prices for a few of the prints, but as of now I've added up, and for each of the trifolds for 10,000 copies it's going to be $463. So that's 3 different trifolds at $463 for 10,000 copies each. The Virginia Cop Block cards for 10,000 is priced at $139.15. That price might come down. We're getting a quote later. The 4 inch by 6 inch Police Accountability Know Your Rights flyer is estimated right now at $261.88 for 10,000. Once again, that price might come down. We're waiting on a new quote. And the cover is the 4 inch by 8.5 inch piece that's going to go up front. Right now quoted at $301.92. That's another one that might be quoted lower. And the bags that we're looking at, they're sort of, you know, those long, kind of like newspaper bags that you get for for 10,000, we have a quote of $209.60. And all of these prices include shipping. So once again, once we get the new quotes, I will update those prices, but we want to be very transparent and, you know, show people exactly what our costs are, exactly what our expenses are, and so nobody thinks that, you know, the money's not going where it should.
Again, this is a 1-month run. It's essentially a preview of what I'll personally be doing and focusing on after the election in November here in the Central Virginia area, alongside with other activists and libertarians, and with help and support from you, which I will obviously need support and printing costs, etc. And let me just reiterate that this project will not happen unless you make it happen. I'm broke right now. I lost my job about 4 weeks ago, so essentially I'm asking you to pay my bills for 1 month so I can do this full-time outreach, education, and activism for 1 month.
So one of the ways that we're going to attempt to fund this project is through ad sales, both on the literature and on the videos that Nathan spoke about. So we have a variety of different ad sales that we can utilize if anybody out there is interested. On the backs of all the flyers, we're going to have space for, it'll be 3.5 inches wide and 2 inches tall, and those chunks will be $100. You can also buy half of one of those chunks for $50, which is 1.75 inches wide, 2 inches tall. And on the site we'll have listed the various spaces that those will be available. They'll be on both the back of the flyers themselves, the trifolds, and for the back of the cover, the 4-inch by 8.5 inch flyer that we'd like to print out with the cover that will go in the front for the bags. We're going to, on the back, offer either one person a $500 purchase of that entire space for an ad. It would be an entire one side of a 4-inch by 8.5 inch flyer, or 20 people at $25 a piece. You can get an icon, your website URL, and a 50-character or less tagline under it. Alright, in addition to the literature printed ad space, we will also have ad space available on our videos. We'll have 2 different kinds of videos. The nightly, just 2-minute recap of what happened throughout the day, and, you know, if anything important happened, where we went, what we handed out, who we saw, stuff like that. Those will have a 5 to 7 second ad on them. And the weekend videos, which will be longer, 5 to 10 minute, you know, more in-depth, higher production value videos of the wrap-up of the week, those will have a 15-second ad video at the beginning. So we have 3 different options for the ad sales on the videos. Option 1 is for $200, you can buy all the ads for 1 week. So you would have your 5 to 7 second ad on every weeknight video and your 15-second ad on the weekend video. And that would just be $200, but you would have to provide us with the video ad. The second option is the same thing, but for $400, and we will make the ads. And because I do video animation with like logo animations and stuff like that, we'll animate your logo for the ad and offer it to you so you can use in whatever videos you want after this project. So that would be $400, and that would cover all the video ads for 1 week. And our third option is if somebody wanted to be our only video sponsor, have all their ads on every video for an entire month, $1,000, same thing, we'll make the ads. I'll do a logo animation for you, send to you, that you can use on whatever you like in the future. And, you know, that will just cover that. We'll offer no other video ad sales in that case, and that would be a $1,000 sponsorship. So that is all our ads, and we will have updates constantly on what's available. And, you know, space is limited on some of these, and so if you really want to get in there soon.
So think of this as investing in liberty. I'm pretty sure that myself and Meg, respectively, have proved ourselves through our activism and outreach over the last couple of years. And we're hoping to get your support for this next project.
So support us if you can, or if you can't, find somebody else who can, because we need to spread liberty in this area. Thanks.
Thanks. Help spread the word. And let me just reiterate that this project will not happen unless you make it happen.